today's world, where democracy thrives on the principle of equality, the representation of women and LGBTQ individuals in political leadership is not just a matter of fairness, it's essential for creating inclusive policies that reflect the diverse needs of all citizens. Despite significant progress over the past few decades, women and LGBTQ individuals continue to be underrepresented in political offices around the globe. This imbalance not only undermines democratic ideals, but also limits the perspectives and experiences that inform critical decision-making processes. In this video, we will delve into three key areas. We will discuss the vital contributions that women and LGBTQ leaders bring to governance, highlighting inspiring figures who have made a difference in their communities. Next, we'll identify the various barriers that prevent equal political participation, including structural challenges and cultural attitudes that persist today. Finally, we will explore gender quotas, what they are, how they work, and their effectiveness in increasing representation and fostering equality in political spaces.
Currently, women hold only 26.9% of parliamentary seats worldwide. This statistic reveals a significant gap in representation, especially considering that women constitute more than half of the global population. Although we've seen progress, like the record number of women serving in the U.S. Congress, where 126 women currently hold seats in the House of Representatives and 25 in the Senate, the journey toward equality is far from complete. Some countries have made remarkable strides in gender representation. For instance, Rwanda leads the world with an astonishing 63.8% of its lower house comprised of women. Similarly, Cuba has achieved significant representation with nearly 53% of its parliamentary seats held by women. Conversely, many nations still grapple with low levels of female political participation. For example, in Ukraine, only 20.8% of parliamentary seats are occupied by women, despite them making up over half of the population. This disparity highlights the persistent barriers that hinder women's involvement in politics. The impact of diverse leadership is profound. Research indicates that when women and LGBTQ+ individuals are included in decision-making processes, policies better reflect the needs and interests of all citizens. Take Kamala Harris, for instance. Her historic role as the first female vice president of the United States has inspired countless others to pursue leadership roles. Moreover, countries with higher female representation tend to enact laws that promote equality and social welfare. A recent study found that nations with more women in government often experience greater prosperity and equity, leading to improved outcomes for their populations. Leaders like Jacinda Ardern from New Zealand exemplify how inclusive leadership can lead to effective crisis management and innovative policies that resonate with diverse communities. Their contributions underscore the importance of having varied perspectives at the decision-making table. As we can see, increasing the representation of women and LGBTQ+ individuals in politics is not just about achieving equality, it's about enhancing democracy itself. Diverse leadership fosters better decision-making and creates a government that truly represents its people.
While we've seen the vital contributions of women and LGBTQ+ individuals in politics, significant barriers still hinder their political participation. Understanding these obstacles is crucial for fostering a more inclusive political landscape. First, let's examine the structural barriers. Discriminatory laws and institutional biases continue to limit opportunities for women and LGBTQ+ individuals seeking to run for office. For instance, many countries still have laws that favor male candidates or impose undue restrictions on women's ability to participate in politics. Moreover, a lack of access to education, resources, and networks significantly impacts their ability to engage politically. Women often have fewer educational opportunities and less access to financial support necessary for campaigning. This gap in resources creates an uneven playing field where men are more likely to succeed. Cultural attitudes also play a pivotal role. Societal perceptions and stereotypes often discourage women from pursuing political careers. In many cultures, traditional beliefs perpetuate the notion that men are more suited for leadership roles, undermining the capabilities of women and LGBTQ+ individuals. The statistics are telling. Despite making up a significant portion of the electorate, women are vastly underrepresented in political office. For example, studies show that while women constitute approximately 50% of the global population, they hold only about 27% of parliamentary seats worldwide. This stark contrast highlights the urgent need for change. Let's hear from some individuals who have faced these barriers firsthand.
Oftentimes, especially women, we feel as though we don't have the time, being a mom like myself, to do more. But I know for a fact that that's not true.
We're a large block of the voters, and we're more than half of the population, so we need to be at the table when the decisions are made.
You can do it, and I'm an example of that. I'm a mom, a wife, and you can do it.
These personal accounts illustrate the real impact of structural and cultural barriers on political representation. To create a truly representative democracy, we must address these challenges head-on, ensuring that everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in governance.
Having explored the barriers to political representation, let's now turn our attention to a powerful solution: gender quotas. These measures are designed to ensure that a certain percentage of political positions are filled by women and LGBTQ+ individuals, thereby promoting greater equality in governance. Gender quotas can take various forms, but their core purpose is clear: to increase female representation in politics. By establishing a defined proportion of seats or positions that must be occupied by women, quotas aim to level the playing field and address historical imbalances in political representation. There are two main types of gender quotas. 1. Legislative quotas. These require that a certain percentage of candidates on electoral lists be women. For example, many countries mandate that at least 40% of candidates must be female. 2. Intra-party quotas. These are party-specific rules that govern candidate selection within political parties, ensuring that women are represented within the party's own nominations. The effectiveness of these quotas is evident. Countries with gender quotas tend to have significantly higher female representation compared to those without. For instance, nations like Rwanda, which implemented mandatory quotas, now boast over 63% female representation in parliament. One notable example is Ukraine, which adopted a mandatory quota system that has led to increased participation of women in politics. Following the implementation of these quotas, women's representation in the Ukrainian parliament rose from 12% to nearly 20%, demonstrating the potential impact of such measures. However, despite their success, gender quotas are not without challenges and criticisms. Critics often argue that these measures undermine meritocracy by suggesting that candidates are selected based on gender rather than qualifications. Yet, proponents argue that quotas are essential as a temporary measure to correct historical imbalances. They emphasize that without such interventions, entrenched biases will continue to perpetuate inequality in political representation. Ultimately, gender quotas serve as a vital tool for promoting equal opportunities in political leadership. By ensuring that women and LGBTQ+ individuals have a seat at the table, we can create more inclusive governance that reflects the diversity of our societies. As we conclude our exploration of gender representation in politics, let's recap the key points we've discussed. Increasing the representation of women and LGBTQ+ individuals is not just a matter of fairness, it is essential for a healthy democracy. Diverse leadership enriches decision-making processes, ensuring that policies reflect the needs of all citizens. We've examined the vital roles that women and LGBTQ+ individuals play in governance, identified the barriers they face, and highlighted how gender quotas can serve as an effective solution to promote equality in political representation. Now, it's time for action. We encourage you to advocate for policies that promote gender equality in political representation. You can make a difference by supporting organizations that empower women and LGBTQ+ candidates, volunteering your time, or simply spreading awareness about these critical issues within your community. Remember, as former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton once said, "Human rights are women's rights and women's rights are human rights." This powerful statement reminds us that inclusivity in politics is not just beneficial, it is necessary for the progress of society as a whole.